All right, well, welcome. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. You know, I'm not really good at all this social media stuff. I mean, I am kind of good at it, but I'm not 100% good at it. But anyway, I haven't been on here in a while because I just haven't felt it. And the other thing is I've been doing a lot of studying, a lot of reading, and a lot of writing. So I'm writing a book. Well, the book is done. The book is in the laptop. And in fact, I got 1.5 books. The half book, I'm still working on that, of course. But here's the thing. I think at this point, I watch a lot of people and I try to stay socially conscious, and I try to stay, mentally conscious, and also try to stay spiritually conscious. And here's the thing. I think that right now that we don't understand one thing, and the one thing that I think that we're lacking or we don't understand is the fact that our religion is what's killing us. And I'm talking about all religion, and I'm not picking one out, but I'm saying all religion is what's killing the African American, the black person, the colored person, whatever you want to call yourself. The descendant of slaves in America is being killed by religion. And the people that are running religion, those are your slave masters now. Those are the ones that are indoctrinating you and putting you into bondage. You're in bondage. You are in bondage because of your pastor, because of your bishop, because of your apostle, and because of their greed. They want to make money, and they want you in church. They want you in the pews so that they can send their messages to you. And basically, they're all targeting women because they know that women are the most emotional, and that women are basically governed by their emotions. That's why you don't see a lot of young men in church. The young men that you see in church, they're the ones that are basically caught up in the muse, and the ones that are not, they're not feeling it because they don't feel anything spiritually. And then it's all ladies because the ladies feel like, first of all, it's a social experience. It's very social, and they want to be involved in that social experience. So if they're not involved in the social experience, then they feel like they're left out. So, and everything is all about relationships, about meeting a husband. I'm gonna meet my Boaz and all of this stuff. That's all the rhetoric that's going on, and then also going to the next level, and all of these false prophecies. There are so many false prophets, and basically all they say is what generalized statements. The statements that they say are not specific prophecy. And if you read the Bible, you know that specific prophecy, any good prophet was always specific with their prophecy, and they told you the details of their prophecy. Why? Because the Most High gave them the prophecy. And I'm going to tell you right now, I am a prophet. And the bottom line is, when God speaks to me, he doesn't speak to me in generalizations. He speaks to me in specifics. So as we go along, you need to understand that most of what you're falling for is the muse. And muse, of course, is the root word of what? Amusement, music, all of those type of things. You know, now we have minstrels who are in charge of the church, and God never put minstrels in charge of the church. Read your Bible, read your Quran, read your Vedas, read all of those religious books. And now let me tell you, all religious books have some truth to them, although they are written in code. And see, your pastor will not tell you what the code is, because if he tells you what the code is, then you can be your own savior. You can be your own Christ. And they don't want you to know that. See, if I give you the cure, then you don't have to keep coming to me for the cure. So if I give you the cure, then you don't have to come back next week and give me an offering, or you don't have to come back next week and give me a tithe. And I guess that's what bothers me the most. And so as I go through and I study, and I kept studying, and see, at one point, don't get me wrong, at one point I was all into the whole Jesus thing and all that. But let me tell you something. Jesus is a generational curse against the indigenous people of the world. So all of the people who are black, brown, red, yellow, but who are non-white, Jesus is not for you. Jesus is there, is the other man's deity. He's not our deity. So I want to just make that clear. He's not our deity. And every time we do something in his name, we curse ourselves. So, and I know everybody's going to get mad and get upset and all that, but that's fine. But what I'm doing is I'm trying to reveal to you that the Most High gave me. And that is the truth that the Most High gave me. The truth that the Most High gave me is that basically we forgot about him, and we forgot about looking at him and turning to him, because God is all about what? Nature. Okay, if something happened, if something happens year after year after year, first of all of the holidays that we celebrate are not the high holy days that our ancestors celebrated in their spirituality. They're not. They're all pagan, every single one of them, from the first one to the last one, and their rituals to reinforce the generational curses and incantations against our people. Why do you think the first slave ship was called Jesus? Why do you think that if you go to West Africa, where we all came from, where all of the descendants of slaves came from, where do you think our people came from? And what's written in those slave castles? It all talks about Jesus. It doesn't talk about anything else. And then I want you to ask yourself one question. Ask yourself this question. Ask yourself this question. What have African Americans, colored people, black people, whatever you want to call us, the descendants of slaves, what have the descendants of slaves gotten since we swore our allegiance to Jesus? What have we gotten? Where have we gone? We've gone through 400 years of slavery. We've gone through almost 100 years of segregation and Jim Crow. We've gone through poverty. We've gone through fratricidal things in our neighborhoods. We've gone through lack of property, lack of ownership, and just straight up poverty. We've gone through the welfare system. We broke up our homes. All of our families are broken up. Men and women raped, hung, whatever you want to call it. The whole, even the concept of picnics is all about lynching us and burning us alive and cutting off men's penises and all of this stuff. We've gone through this for the last 500 years. So what do they say the definition of insanity is? It's doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. We haven't gotten different results. Right in the year 2019, or we're still being lynched. We're still being murdered on live TV. The police or the overseers. We even had a nerve to have pastors in churches that call themselves overseers. And where do you think all of that came from? But you would go in a black church and tell black people that you're their overseer? And I guess we don't get it. But if we're going to keep on doing the same thing over and over again and not making any change in it, then we're losing it. And we need to understand that our path, our spiritual path, is what's holding us back. It has nothing to do with all these political or social or economic issues. It doesn't have anything to do with that. It has nothing to do with that. And then ask the second question I want you to ask yourself, who, if you read the Bible, those who haven't read the Bible, you really can't answer this, but those that have read the Bible, what I want you to ask yourself is, who are the enemies in the Bible? Start at Genesis and then go through the Bible and ask yourself, all along the way, who were the enemies? And they were always what? The first enemy that we know that was prominently displayed was what? The Egyptians. The Exodus story is about the Egyptians. Well, guess what? The Egyptians are our ancestors, the Kemetic priests and the pharaohs and all of those people that they were killing. In fact, the Passover is what? The Passover is nothing but a curse. The Passover is a curse against the black man. That's what it is. And I mean, you can call it what you want, and you can say what you want, but the Passover is a curse. It is a curse against the indigenous people of the world. And then you go through and you call yourself Phoenicians. You can go through every other, the Philistines, everybody that's an enemy against the Hebrews or the Israelites or whatever you want to call them, right? Everybody that's their enemy is black. And then they have it turned around on us, right, to believe that the Hebrews are black people, but the Hebrews are made up. Hebrew is not even. It's a European word. It's not even. It has no. And the Yiddish language and Hebrew languages come from Middle Europe. They don't come from Africa. And all of those people that they describe in the Bible were African, and all those things were stolen from the books in Alexandria, which were stolen and then destroyed. All of the deities were copied after Kemetic deities. They're not real. All of that stuff. The book is the Bible and the Quran are books of stories. Yes, they are stories, but they're not historical. They're metaphorical, and they're based upon basically astrology and astrotheology. They're not what you think they are. So when you read those stories, or when your pastor is in church every Sunday telling you these stories and acting, these people never existed, y'all. And basically what they're talking about is what the ancient Egyptians saw in the stars. That's why I say it's a book of astrology and astrotheology, because they understood the way that the stars and everything line. All of those things, they were written in code by your ancestors. Everything was written in code by your ancestors, the Moors. And the Moors got everything passed down to them from the Coptic Kemetic priests. Coptic Kemetic priests wrote all of the Bible. They wrote every single word of it. And then it was stolen. But they put it in code so that you could understand it. And they couldn't kill them all. They tried. They tried to kill, and they tried to burn the library down. But guess what? It didn't work. Because guess what? The truth will always come out. And eventually, we need to learn the truth. And we need to stop worshiping the deity that is actually put there to enslave us. And that's all I'm saying. And if you think about it, and this is not for everybody, because most people don't think. In fact, most Christians, people who call themselves Christians, have not even read or studied the Bible. They don't understand the Bible. And the Bible is a Moorish code book. And it tells you the code that what we're supposed to know and what we're supposed to understand about ourselves. And the fact that what we're supposed to understand about ourselves is that we are gods and goddesses. And our lot in life is to make ourselves gods and goddesses. We are. That's what we are. Ye are God. And you can go into the scriptures, and the scriptures let you know. Is it not written? Is it not written? Is it not written? Ask yourself, is it not written? Is it not written that ye are gods? So what does that mean to you? And you were made in the image and in the likeness of God. See, it's different to be made in his image, but to be made in his likeness, to be made in his likeness, you don't understand. You can't understand that. To be made in his likeness, you are like him. You have the nature, you have his nature, and you have to understand that. And until you do, you will always be slaves.